Hello, everybody, and welcome to Subconscious Sundays. I am your co-host, Reverend April Kling Meyer, and with me is Timothy Freeman. Hello, Tim.
Hi, welcome everybody.
Welcome. Thanks for joining us this week. It's a pretty big, giant topic. It's the topic of grief. Just one word, grief. And it's something that none of us are a stranger to. And each week, I try to do this every week. I don't have I haven't done it consistently, but I'm going to be a lot more consistent with it from now on. I put a prompt on my Facebook page that's public and let people weigh in on the topic that's coming on Sunday. And this week was very lively. People had a lot to say about grief because I think it is just really something that nobody's a stranger to. I can't find a single person who's never gone through it, or if they have, you know, if they haven't, then they will soon. Wouldn't you agree?
Well, we all lose something that is close or that is important to us in life
Right.
at some point.
So, yeah, definitely. And before we begin and dive deep into all that grief holds for us this week, we want to just remind everybody that this is a fun and entertaining, laid back way to discuss potentially serious and heavy topics, but we remain open and inviting, welcoming those who have any questions or ideas to respectfully bring those into the conversation.
Yes, and we like this to be. It is for us. It's become a weekly ritual for us to gather together and um, share how we work within the subconscious around certain topics with folks as we're working through certain topics ourselves as well.
Yeah.
And we have a few core values for this program. First of all, one value is being respectful of everybody's individual journey.
Yeah.
Um, and that, go ahead, April. You can
Yeah.
take it
And
away on the.
being compassionate for ourselves and others, and promoting growth and expansion in this sacred space, and creating a supportive community. Um, as time goes on, I'm sure that those will be more pressing concerns, but for now, it's a pretty gentle, easy weekly show for us. And we still welcome you, however many of you are able to join us live. So let's dive right in. So it was a really lively conversation this week about grief. And one of the first bits of input that I got, which was rather psychic because I almost titled this show Good Grief just to be funny. But Dawn said, place the word good in front of it. And it's something Charlie Brown says all the time. Good grief. But I decided to name it just simply one word because grief doesn't always feel very good. And because grief, I feel like grief is kind of neutral, but I still think this joke is funny. Um, so I asked some other people, we got some responses from some other people on how they define grief. And here's one from Augustus, or as we refer to as Augie. Hi, Augie. Grief is the emotional mud you get through to get to solid ground. It's on the way, not in the way. A lot of great things can grow in mud. And I would like to bring to mind No Mud, No Lotus by Thich Nhat Hanh, I believe was one who said that. If you can figure out what to do with your grief, your life can be more beautiful for the time you spend going through it. So another commenter said, and this is my mom, Claudia, grief is a process one goes through to grapple with the various losses of life. Grief is compounded when denied, which is a really great point that we want to drive home today, that grief is to be faced, not ignored. Bear, our loyal listener and someone who appears with us each week and is probably with us right now. Grief is a strict teacher. It inflicts the deepest pain, so you can wake up to the lesson that love lasts forever, and even death can't break a true bond. That's beautiful. That's really lovely. Um, Jack says, a struggle to accept what is no longer or cannot be. Doug says, I define it pretty simply, loving something that is gone. And when folks say they're not really gone, that's the grief talking. Could be, could be. And then Amanda says, no, clearly no stranger to grief here. My heart has grown around my grief. Sometimes it still takes my breath away 30 years later. Jimmy says it means you were honored with love. Ooh, we'll get to that in a second because that's gorgeous. Izzy says when something is missing and can never be replaced, there will always be an emptiness there. Hmm. And then Dusty says, it's almost a rite of passage. Without a doubt, you have one specific time in which you will measure future incidents upon. I feel like it never goes away. Time and new memories help soften the rough edges of grief, and life becomes different. And she goes on to say, how you choose to adjust to the different is on you. Yeah, you do get to define that. That's not to say that you have to carry it alone, but ultimately you have to make that choice. And I like this one from Julie here quite a bit because Julie goes into how grief feels. And she says, the most claustrophobic feeling, it's the walls closing in that can't be escaped. Wherever you go, there it is, the unfixable, the inevitable. We are all either the grievers or the loss. It's pretty potent. Really, really, really potent way of thinking of grief. So I want to just share some of my own learnings about grief, if I may. And I was making some notes about it the other day, and I'm really glad. Thank you so much, everybody, for your input on the way that's defined. But I love how everybody um, who weighed in, almost everybody who weighed in, acknowledged that it wasn't necessarily about grief over a death of a person. I think that's kind of the first image that comes to mind. But we grieve over the deaths of our pets. We also can experience grief over the roles that we play. We'll be doing an episode about roles later on this season, such as school, like being a student, or parenthood, or even a career or a job. We can grieve no longer having those roles. Youth, I grieve my youth every day, Tim. What about you? I feel
Oh,
like
that's an interesting one.
yeah, I feel like the aging process is also a grieving process of youth. And then also the grief that I personally that has been most potent for me besides youth was places we lived or having a sense of home. Um, with all the political turmoil there is in the world, it's forcing a lot of people to migrate and be in different places from the places they know of as home. So we're seeing kind of catastrophic levels of grief in the world. Um, and it's not, I mean, it's not inappropriate because it's definitely a grief to have to leave one's own home. I'm going through it. I'm feeling it, and that's something I hold a tremendous amount of respect and space for. Um, I feel I mentioned this a second ago about the aging process being the grieving process of youth, but I also feel that I have befriended grief as I've aged, and I feel like grief becomes, if I greet it like an old friend, it becomes something that I feel safer with and is feels easier to acknowledge and face. I wouldn't say that it's easier to get through as a result, but it's easier to know it when I see it. And I feel like in our culture, in Western culture, there's a constant pressure and a temptation to label grief as inappropriate in some ways or judge it as being disproportionate, too long, too intense, not as intense as it should be. Oh, I'm not grieving this as deeply as I should. Bad timing, should be over this by now. Um, I can't grieve this right now. I have too many things on my plate. Shouldn't feel a certain way about this loss. Um, I really welcome everybody, if any of those statements resonate with you, to check in with yourself and see if that's still true. Grief really, like my mom said, it can't be denied, and it compounds if it's postponed and denied. Um, One of the best ways I think to face grief is, especially if we're trying to deny it and especially if we're trying to postpone it, is in the dream state. I feel like these dreams that we have about those we've lost are an opportunity, an invitation to process grief. And it's a disservice to ourselves to dismiss it, to wake up and completely forget about those dreams in which our loved ones who have gone are, no, make an appearance, and we have that opportunity to be with them. I think it's important to honor those dreams and to record them. And you know me, Tim, I'm always going to say, keep a dream journal. Always keep a dream journal, and it's something that I sell. So shameless plug here. Go to www.creativityisspirituality.com and get yourself a dream fill in the blank dream journal to help you along that process. However, I really strongly feel that in my own dream journaling process, I've been able to uncover a lot of delayed, denied grief in my own life. And I've opened up this channel for myself to process it. So I hope these tips, definitions, and gentle warnings with a great deal of compassion allow everyone who's listening or watching to understand what you're going through yourself, and to give yourself compassion, and to know that Tim and I are here for you, both of us, either of us, if you need help along the process.
Yeah, and something we talked about here before this show, um, it is a process, and it's not something that can be necessarily accelerated, and it's a different process for everybody. I know that there's the now famous 5 stages of grief out there that have helped to frame this, I think, helpfully for a lot of people over decades, or maybe I'm not sure when this was developed in recent time.
Mm-hmm.
Kubler-Ross, right?
Yep.
But I also know that they don't depict this as any kind of linear process. And so, it's like you can move from denial to, different stages. It's not necessarily like in order, and everybody has their own process with it. It takes their own amount of time with it. But one thing that April mentioned with the dream journaling, I think by accessing, what's in your subconscious mind around the grief, and working with that, I think it does help ease the process. And again, I'm not sure if it fully accelerates the process, but I think we can gain really valuable insights um, around what we've lost, and what we've gained from those experiences that we've lost.
Exactly. And the main thing for me is that grief and gratitude are twins. They're the same thing in a lot of ways. They look exactly the same in a lot of ways. They're just on different sides of an event. Um, we can spend hours talking about all the ways that grief and gratitude are similar, but I invite everyone on their own, in their own time, to evaluate how gratitude can feel dark. It's almost as if like grief is the shadow of gratitude. That gratitude can feel dark and sad and lonely, and that grief can also feel warm and safe and beautiful. It's one of those precious little paradoxes that we're given in our time on this planet.
Yeah, I really like this pairing of gratitude and grief as twins. And there's this But what it makes me think of, there's this phenomenon in astrology, actually, it's called mutual reception, where it's like one planet is in the sign of another, and this planet's in, they're in each other's houses kind of thing. So this grief and gratitude, they mutually inform each other. And I do feel like gratitude is somewhat of an antidote in that regard, as kind of a twin, but also a binary opposite in a way, in a certain
Yeah,
respect.
yeah, definitely. I know that in times of deep, deep, deep grief, that it's helped me to just remember what it is I'm grieving and what I loved about it. So, without
Yeah,
further
there's
ado, are you ready to go into the hypnotism
let's do it.
or
We'll do
hypnosis?
a hypnotic meditation today on this subject, and I hope that it will help to uh, first of all help us connect our conscious and subconscious minds around this topic and this feeling that we've all experienced, and from there gain some insight into how the experience of grief uh, might have some value for us and some meaning. So let's go ahead and begin by just sitting comfortably or lying down. Feel free to lie down or sit comfortably. If you're seated, feet flat on the ground, legs uncrossed, just get into a nice, comfortable position where you can relax for a few minutes here. And as you get settled in, just get comfortable and start to notice your body, just whatever you feel right now. And we're going to begin by bringing your attention to the top of your head, the very, very top of your head. And I'd like for you to now find a spot on the wall that's just above your natural eye gaze. It's going to look something about like this. And as you take in a deep breath, I want you to really eagle eye that spot, focus in on that spot, and look at every little detail. And as you exhale, look through that spot. And you might notice the corners of the room. And go ahead and close your eyes comfortably, relaxed. Bring your attention again to the top of your head and any of the little small muscles in your scalp. Let them just relax. And we're going to start to send a feeling of relaxation all through your face. Focus now on your eyelids, nice and relaxed, just closed and resting. And the sensation of your eyelids gently held together just takes you a little bit more deeply relaxed. Now focus on your jaw, relaxing your jaw. Just let it hang naturally. Relax the back of your neck, any muscles there that might just want to be a little more relaxed. Drop your shoulders. We all often hold some tension in our shoulders. Many people do. Just let your shoulders relax. There's nothing to do right now. Send that wave of relaxation down your arms now. It feels really good moving all the way down your arm. And as it moves, relaxes every little muscle fiber in your arms, all the way down to the tips of your fingers. Good. And now that wave of relaxation is going through our chest, into our abdomen, reminding us that we're safe, secure. Feels really good just to do nothing right now. Just relax. Now your lower back, wave of relaxation, melting any tension in your lower back, your hips, your legs. That wave of relaxation is moving down your legs now, into your knees, into your calves. You might start to notice a sense of spaciousness all around you at this point. Good. Now the wave of relaxation moves into your feet, relaxing all those little muscles that keep us upright every day. and down into the ground. And I'd like you to now slow your rate of breathing. Just get into a comfortable, slow rhythm of breathing with a really long exhalation. Just take a few slow, comfortable breaths, breathing in pure, fresh, clean oxygen. And with each breath you inhale, you sense a feeling of revitalization coming from that pure, fresh air, infusing every cell in your body. This state of relaxation now feels really, really good. Now relax your tongue. Just let your tongue rest in your mouth. No need to speak right now, except just relax even more comfortably into the surface that you're laying or seated on. Good. Now bring your attention to the feeling of that surface beneath you, gently pressing up into your back. And as that awareness fades, you go even more deeply, even more comfortably relaxed. So I'm going to now ask you to take your consciousness into your heart. Drop right now, whatever that means to you, drop your consciousness into your heart. And from there, it's safe, warm, feels familiar. Your whole body feels comfortably relaxed, really good. Any last bit of tension in any part of your body right now that might want to let go, just let it release. And take your consciousness now. We're going to take our consciousness up from our heart. Take it back up through your head into the sky above your head, way up into the highest reaches of the universe. Clarity, higher and higher. Whatever you notice right now is just right. Take your consciousness as high above you as you can possibly take it into the far reaches of the universe. And as you take in a deep breath, we're going to breathe in this clarity, this energy of clarity and inspiration, and bring it right back down into your body. This feeling of peace, clarity, inspiration, moving down your body all the way through your heart, down into your abdomen, through your hips, into your legs, down into your feet and into the earth. Now send this feeling of peace and clarity all the way down into the earth now. And as we start to move our consciousness, our awareness, through the power of our imagination, we're going to move our consciousness down into the earth now. And just take a moment. Once again, bring your attention to the feeling of the surface beneath you, gently supporting you. And as that awareness fades, you go even more deeply and even more comfortably relaxed. And bring to mind now something that you've lost that has had you experiencing a level of grief. Might be a person, might be a thing. Whatever comes to mind right now is exactly right. Something that you've lost and something that you have experienced some grief around. And once again, I'd like you to take your attention to the surface beneath you. And as you do, we're going to start to bring our awareness again down into the earth. Slowly, we're going to move our consciousness with the power of our imagination, breathing slowly and freely, comfortably, move our consciousness into the earth beneath us. And as we do, we're going to go through layers of experience that we have had since experiencing this loss. Most recently, first, we're going to go back in time as we move down into the earth. You might feel the sensation of your feet now. And that's reminding you that you're also safe and secure here. One part of us here in a hypnotic meditation, another part of our consciousness is moving down into the earth, back in time through experiences that we've had since that loss. And as we move further down into the earth, it's safe, it's dark, it's warm. This is a nurturing energy. We're able to breathe freely and comfortably. With each breath of pure, fresh oxygen, we feel even more deeply and comfortably relaxed, moving down further into the earth, deeper and deeper back in time. We're getting closer to the very first experience of this loss, something you've lost. And right now, there we are. And you notice right in front of you, you see something gleaming, and it looks like a gemstone. It looks like a diamond. Right now, imagine that diamond right in front of you. We've moved our consciousness, part of our consciousness, deep down into the earth through our past experiences. And here we are at this point of loss. And you notice this gemstone, this diamond. It's brilliant. The more you notice this diamond in your awareness, the more brilliant it becomes. And however you notice it, it is exactly right now. Once again, bring to mind something that you've lost. And as you notice this diamond, it becomes even more brilliant. And we look into the diamond, and there's something very important here as we're sort of gazing into this beautiful, brilliant gemstone. We start to notice all the things we really love about the thing we lost. Breathing freely and comfortably, just let anything come to mind that you really love about that thing that you lost. Some experiences might come to mind. Just be really gentle with yourself right now. We're looking into, with the power of our imagination, we're looking into this brilliant gemstone. It's formed under the pressure of all of our experiences since this loss. This pressure has built up a very valuable thing here in this gemstone. And as you look into the brilliant gemstone, imagine everything that you love about that thing that you lost. And there's a color that comes to mind now that is reminiscent of the feeling of love around what you've lost. Whatever color comes to mind now is just right. And as you take in a deep breath, I'd like you to breathe in that color. Notice how it feels in your body, this feeling of love around something that you've lost. And in a moment, I'm going to count back from 3 to 1. And something very important is going to come to mind right now about something here that you've lost, something that you love about that person or that thing you lost. 3, coming into focus, looking into that gemstone. 2 and 1. And right now, looking into that gemstone, there's something very important there that you notice about the thing you lost, the love that you hold. Take your attention to the way this feeling of love feels in your body. Once again, that color comes to mind that represents this love that you feel for that which you've lost. Taking a deep breath, breathe in this color deeply, let it infuse every muscle, cell, and nerve of your being. Good. Breathe comfortably. We're just going to sit and notice how that feeling of love feels in our body. Now, anytime in the future, if you so choose, when you think of that which you've lost, this color or this brilliant gemstone can immediately come to mind for you, reminding you of exactly the one or two or three or several really special things that you really love about that thing that you lost. And that feeling will come over your body, what that love feels like. You might breathe in that color It feels so good right now to be able to look at what you've lost through this angle. When I count to three, with the power of our imagination, we're going to take this brilliant gemstone. We're going to mine this diamond. One, go ahead and notice the diamond again. In the power of your imagination, it's a brilliant gemstone. Two, go ahead and allow that diamond to become really real in front of you. And three, take that diamond with the power of your imagination, put it in your pocket. You might even stick it in your heart right now. We're just going to sit for a moment and take a few deep breaths, breathing in that color that represents love for that which we've lost, all our favorite things about that thing we've lost. And with each breath, you become even more comfortably relaxed. Maybe there's another part of your body that wants to relax a little further. Breathing comfortably, feeling that feeling in your body feels really good right now. That color infusing every cell in your body. Good. In a moment, I'm going to count from three back to one. We're going to move up through the layers of the earth, taking with us this beautiful gemstone, this color that feels so good in your body, that represents the love that you have for the thing that you've lost. Three, moving your consciousness up now through the earth, upwardly moving slowly. Two, breathing comfortably, moving upwards, coming back up into our body here. One, moving our consciousness right back into our heart. And I'd like for you to now open your eyes and join us in waking consciousness. Now that we're back here, thank you for joining me for this. I really want you to hold in your mind what you noticed about that brilliant gemstone. What is that color and how that color felt in your body? You probably still feel that feeling in your body, and know that you now can associate to this feeling anytime you want to. And it might help through this process of grief and accepting what we've lost. It might help us feel a little bit more grateful for the experiences that we've had, even though we've lost them. There's still a lot here.
Beautiful. I really enjoyed that. Thank you so much. And I'm not the only one, because our regular here, Paris, says some very interesting realizations, Tim. Thank you for your session.
Yeah, you're
So thank
welcome.
you, Bear, for always being here. And we do appreciate it, Tim. That was very gorgeous. My color ended up being like this bright, like pinkish red,
Mm-hmm.
and it just gleamed.
Now, really like using this tool, especially here with you, April, because creativity is spirituality. You help people reclaim their divine creativity through creative expression, and these symbols, color, are really powerful to our subconscious mind, and we can make these
Yeah.
associations. The subconscious mind is so associative that we can use classical conditioning and make these associations and use them to our advantage. We're often using them unintentionally when something comes along in life that resonates with a painful experience. Maybe a color or a symbol or an object instantly reminds us of something. We can flip that and do it in a positive respect for ourselves. Our subconscious minds are so powerful. So I invite you to play with that throughout this week.
Yeah.
Bring back up this color and the what you notice about this gemstone, and see how it works for you this week.
What I remember most about this color is that it was the color that I would use in the crayon box to paint people, to color in people's lips. So it does kind of tie into what it is I'm grieving. So I'm kind of holding that going, what's that about? I have a poem I want to share with you all that I stumbled upon while I was researching for this week, and we'll be closing with that today. But of course, before we close, we want to always remind you that all of the information that you need to book a session with either Tim or myself, absolutely free, no obligation, no charge, is in the description of every video we make. So click the link and just set yourself a little time to chat with either one of us to see how we can help you. With Tim, that would be through hypnosis. With me, that would be through one-on-one counseling and spiritual guidance. And I'll go ahead and read you the poem. And it is by John O'Donohue. In the US, the book that this would be from will be Beauty, the Invisible Embrace. And in Europe, the name of the book is Divine Beauty. And here it is. All through your life, the most precious experiences seem to vanish. Transience turns everything to air. You look behind and see no sign even of a yesterday that was so intense. Yet in truth, nothing ever disappears. Nothing is lost. Everything that happens to us in the world passes into us. It all becomes part of the inner temple of the soul, and it can never be lost. This is the art of the soul, to harvest your deeper life from all the seasons of your experience. This is probably why the soul never surfaces fully. The intimacy and tenderness of its light would blind us. We continue in our days to wander between the shadowing and the brightening, while all the time a more subtle brightness sustains us. If we could but realize the sureness around us, we would be much more courageous in our lives. The frames of anxiety that keep us caged would dissolve. We would live the life we love, and in that way, day by day, free ourselves from the weight of regret. So thank you, everybody,
Wow.
for being with us here today. I hope that we've helped you through whatever grief you are facing right now, and that this episode continues to help people in the future with grief as it arises in your lives. We'll see you next week.